Hello, Internet. This here is a bottle I bought in early fall last year, and I'm only now getting around to reviewing it, and there are reasons for that. What is it? So this is from New England Distilling up in Portland, Maine. This is the 8 Bells Rum. No, New England Distilling, founded by Ned Wright, who's coming from a family of distillery owners who used to make rye in Maryland back pre-prohibition, going into, I guess, the 50s. And he's sort of moved shop up to Maine and is now making rye and bourbon and now rum up there. So this is not a whole lot of information on the bottle label itself. It is 45% alcohol by volume. Batch number 29. It is distilled and bottled by them, which is nice. Let me give you a look at the label. Very maritime themed. If you go to their website, they report that this is 3 years old. It's distilled. It's from Caribbean molasses. I was sitting on the fence on buying this until I saw their distilling setup. So they use basically a direct fired pot still with what looks like a pair of retorts. I'm not totally sure. I think it's retorts. I'm not sure, but it's a really, really small pot still with, that's being blasted with blue flames, which is really cool. And I thought, well, what the hell? It's worth a whirl to see if this is any good. And so, since you might be seeing this in your neck of the woods, I thought I would give it a review for you. Let's give this a dash of water. I'm not going to sort of try it neat and then with water. We'll just add, like 5 drops right off the bat. All right. So, pot distilled Caribbean source molasses, 3 years old in extra bourbon oak. I didn't mention that today. So this should be good in theory. And on the nose, it's actually quite simple. Not in a good. Sometimes I'll use simple in like a good way, but in this case, not so much. I'm mostly getting like mixed honeys on this. That's mostly it. Like wildflower honeys, little clover in there. That's most of it. Vanilla. Oh, there's a bit of like a raw alcohol note in this too. A little bit of like a burned note, which I can't quite put my hand on. It's like ethanol, but also like just something is burning. A little of coffee in there, like a handful of coffee beans. And that's kind of it. This is pretty basic, if I'm totally honest. Which hurts me to say, right? Like this is like I want to root for these guys. I want to root for the privateers of the world, but this is on the nose. This is not doing it for me. On the palate, ooh. So it arrives again on lots of honey, different kinds of honey, kind of a vanilla ice cream, scoop of vanilla ice cream in there, a little pepper, a little campfire, and then it closes on this kind of, like bitter ethanol and something burned note. I don't know what that is. I thought initially that maybe it was like the barrel char or something, but now I don't think so. So I'm wondering, is it just like, is that a side effect of the direct firing? What is going on there? Yeah. Old coffee grinds, married to like old tea leaves. Yeah, this is not great. This is not my favorite thing. which breaks my heart to say because someone put their heart and soul into this, right? I mean, this is not in the world of American craft whiskey. There's a lot of stuff going on that makes me angry. Like someone out there is buying up bulk agave syrup and throwing it in a tank with some yeast they bought off the internet, and then distilling it and bottling it at 40% and marketing it as, I don't know, depending on where they are, like Jersey Keela, something like that. That's happening. That's happening. This is not that. This is like a legit, still setup. They seem to care. They seem to actually be, aging the stuff in standard-sized barrels, and it just doesn't work. I mean, if you handed this to me, wow, like blind, there's no way I'm saying pot distilled. There's no way. Like I am thinking, something that came off a big column still, probably in Puerto Rico or the U.S. Virgin Islands, something like that. And I just struggled to find the character here. Let me just, in shorthand, let me give you the big problem with this. Here it is. I mean, you could say, well, this is a young craft distillery. Maybe they haven't found their footing yet. This is Moba in South Africa. They just started up around the same time as these guys. These guys are 2011. I can't remember Moba's date, but very, very recent. And this is awesome. This was one of my favorite bottles from last year. And you might say, well, yeah, that's South Africa. You can't really compare that to a distillery in the U.S., in Maine, right? Well, okay, here's another problem with it. Roulet-Son, overproof. I also tried this last year. I can't get a full bottle of this because they don't distribute it in Illinois. I wish they did. I would be buying the hell out of it if they did. I adored this when I tried it, and also a fairly young distillery, also American, but man, is there like character and terroir and just this bleeds with quality when you sort of pour this in a glass. This does not. So I could side by side this with one of those characters and have it completely blown out, but let's not do that. Let's side by side it with what should be, in many scenarios, the bad guy. Here we go. Havana Club, 7-year-old Cuban rum, and this is the real stuff. This is not sort of Puerto Rican Havana Club. This is the Cuban Havana Club. So, in theory, this should be worse than that, because this is not made on a pot still. This is made on an industrial column still. It's not a sort of big modern setup. This is, basically 1950s, 60s technology, I assume. And they're using the sort of, I won't go into the depths of Cuban rum making. There's some links down below where I'll send you for that. But basically, it's a mix of lighter rums that come, way off the top of the column, very highly refined, pushing, into the 90s alcohol-wise, with aguardiente, heavier rums, taken much lower off the stills. And then there's a very complex, like, aging, blending scheme going on. But basically, this is very much an industrial product. This should be the bad guy, right? This should be the one we all boo. Versus this, which is the craft product, this should be the one with character and, poise and quirky distinctiveness. But let's give the Havana Club, the 7-year-old, a try. This really, this is realistically, this is probably going into mixed drinks and stuff, but let's just give it a try neat. On the nose. Ooh, right off the bat, old bike tires. There is, and this is something I got very often in traditional, shortish, no, not multi-column still rums, but column still rums. This kind of rubbery note. push this far enough, and you get into Corona territory. Here it's much more restrained. So I'm getting Old Tires, RC Cola, vanilla, cup of good old-fashioned French roast coffee you've dumped a whole lot of cream into. A little sawdust, actually. There's a little bit of a hint of like American cooperage going on. So when I first tried this, I thought, are they using like some virgin American oak in this? I don't think that anymore, but that was my impression. Such is the rawness of the oak going on here. And way in the back, kind of providing color, is a little bit of banana peel, pineapple, guava as well, some ground pepper. Something like, what is that? It smells like something remind me of cars. Like, yeah, let's go with that. You're in the interior of like a classic car, like a 70s Mustang before the 80s ruined Mustangs. So like leather, polish, metal, that kind of stuff. You're smelling all that. Now, this is bottled at 40% alcohol, and it has caramel added. I know because this is, for some reason, a German bottling, and it says mit Farbstoff, which is very nice of the Germans to point out. So that all of that is going to kind of smudge the nose and the palate of this a little bit, but there's a lot going on actually. On the palate of this, yeah, once again, so we're leading with like RC Cola, so like kind of generic cola, coffee, hotel coffee that you've dumped a whole lot of cream and sugar into, but nice. This is nice, creamy, sugary hotel coffee, if that makes sense. And yeah, like those sort of old bike tires I was getting on the nose. There's some vanilla, lots of vanilla actually. Some fruity notes, cherry, pineapple. Not so much banana. This is more plantain, like fried plantain. But then there's like a little bit of an ashy note, like some burned leaves. Maybe one of the tires caught fire too, a little burning rubber, and quite a lot of fresh American oak. Again, I don't think it's virgin oak. That would really surprise me, but maybe they recharred these things or something. I'm not totally sure, but there's a lot of oak in this. And then, past all that, the finish is, kind of slightly shallowish. It's not going too deep in my mouth. The mouthfeel isn't terrific, but it's there. Medium finish on like s'mores and Lipton's tea. And that's what we got here. This is actually pretty solid. I wouldn't give this a score blowing it out of the water. I would give this a good 79 points, maybe 80. Let me try this one more time. No, I'm sticking to 79. Well, 79 plus. Let's be generous. 79 plus points. Okay, I could lecture you. It shouldn't have caramel coloring. It should be bottled at slightly higher proof. That would be great. But the point, the fact of the matter is, this very produced industrial product has tons more character than this thing that came from a pot distilled, craft distillery in Portland, Maine. Oof, yeah. It's not even close. So there we have it. 72 points, 79 plus. And yeah, this is not, I don't feel good about this, but that's kind of where I am on these. Wow. So I don't know what the deal is, honestly. Like they're getting molasses from the Caribbean. Presumably it's good quality. So is it the fermentation? Are they just making their cuts too narrow? They're just like not getting any of the fun congeners in there? I don't know. I don't know what's going on. But for me, this is a 72 point rum, and it breaks my heart, but I can't recommend it. That's it. Oh, and if you can find Havana Club, this is $30 everywhere, under $30 most places. So definitely worth a grab if you can find it. Not gonna blow your mind, but a wonderful example of Cuban rum at its finest. Thanks for watching and cheers.